At the end of last stream, I did say that I might spend a little bit more time offline, which I did do. I left things going and just every 20 or so minutes came back and just did my little manual rounds. We're up to 879 tickets. Things have been smoothed out a little bit more. I'm still doing manual runs to come down here and just grab a few computers, grab a few supercomputers. I've done this recently, which is why there's not many there. Radio control units as well. I've gone vertical in a couple of places now as well, finally. Some people will be very pleased to see that I doubled my circuit board production so that I could grab the Soma sloops out of here. I doubled production manually. Let's just drop these over here. Turbo motors are now automatically being fed across instead of getting a irregular dump into the Awesome Sink. They're now just a regular fixture. So that way I want to be able to track what my average over time truly was. Because I was seeing, oh, about 5 or so million. It's like, yeah, but then there's the dump of turbo motors every now and then. Let's quantify that. We've now got, as well, a second drone station put in. So over at my turbo fuel base, we'll go check that out in a short while. Exciting developments at our satellite bases. Over here, you've still got plenty of supercomputers. Good. No improvements to this base. I don't think there's any I really can make, other than if I was to automate supercomputers somehow. There's my new drone coming in. It's using turbo fuel, so it's got a red glow. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it looks like to me. From the back of this container here, how about we actually have a Mark 6, just for funsies, why not? Let's go crazy on this. Mark 6 going across here, to around here, I think. And then we will put that on top there. They just look cool. I want a ribbon of light looking cool. Come across the top of this base here, ideally. I'm going to go around behind my space elevator, I think. We could even just go from there to the top of this container, actually, come to think of it. There we go. And now we're not clipping anything. Zoom. Oh, perfect. Go above hypertube. Don't want to get mixed up with the other high mark belt that goes into the Awesome Sink. Cross over here. We could just get rid of the space elevator now, it must also be said. And then you're currently looping back. We're going to do this instead. Go zooming past. Here we go. Lovely. So as soon as these come out, they go zooming off. Get rid of this container off the top now. And then at the rate of is it 1,000 units per minute? I want to see how quickly these go. Wait for it. Boom. Whee! Oh, that's fun. Can we run along this sort of super speed as well? Whoa, yes we can. Okay. Let's catch up. Woohoo! Okay, that's super fun. And that sends them straight into here, so we no longer have to do that ourselves. I mean, that was so quick to do. Why didn't I do that earlier? Yeah, whatever. Part of me just loves keeping a manual piece of the process, so I feel involved. But that just then leads to frustration when I miss something. Like the circuit boards and computers, these could also be automated by now. I can have them coming across from over yonder. It'll be ugly as all hell, but we've already got so much spaghetti going on anyway. What's a bit more, right? Yeah, it's partly because of the run there with the conveyor belt going through. But we could reposition this just slightly, right? Yeah, it's because we told it to do it square. Because we thought that looked nicer. Oh, we can do curve now instead, that's true. That wasn't an option previously. It's still a little bit clippy, but it's not so bad. Or we just do the default, and honestly, That's fine. Yeah, it clips through a power pole. Oh well. Whatever. It's not even that bad. We can actually build on top of the MAM, which is kind of fun. Also, we could put some conveyor poles down. We would need something to put them on, though, and we can't just put them on anything. That's interesting. So we can stack the conveyor belts on top of whatever we please, but the stackable poles we cannot. Huh. Alright. Well, I guess we just put them side by side then. So we can put a lifter off this side. Looks hideous. So what? Go that way. Bring you over here. Oh, you can't quite reach there. That's a shame. How about if we put you on top of this conveyor belt here? Will that let you stretch to there? It will. Fantastic. We have a computer highway set up now. Then we've got circuit boards coming up here from this. This could be a splitter. So if we deconstruct this and have a splitter at this point here, then we can put this back on again, and then have this coming this way, back across, just kind of doubling back on itself, because this is where it comes from in the first place. Like that. And then across here. We know that if we go as far as this, then it should reach, because we're coming in right next to the computer one. And it's like 5 per instead of 2 per, I think. Yeah, and we just zigzag our way across here. Alright, circuit boards on the bottom, computers up the top, splitting off at whatever. We've got a huge backlog of these now. Lovely. Should have done that a long time ago, because there's been a couple of times that we've run out. So then the only other thing would be the supercomputers coming into here. That I also should automate, but I also don't mind doing that one manually necessarily, because we're also diverting them somewhere else. So the other thing to consider is I could start just overclocking things to technically unsustainable levels. Because if we could bump this up a little bit higher to get this producing... So we're not even overclocking it at all, we're just doing base level. This here we could then bump up a little bit more, run through what we've got, just for that final push. Because we're so close. Let's go see how close we are. We have 5 more coupons. So we're now doing an average of 6 and a bit million per minute. We remain steadily over the 6 mark, which is nice. So that's now smoothed out because we've got the turbo motors being included in that. So yeah, 884. So let's go show off some of the other innovations I've been making at my other base. So over here, we now have another drone port, because I needed the plastic and rubber that I was producing over here that was just being chucked into the sink. I realized that I literally needed those in order to keep up with my consumption over at my other base. That's why I kept running out of things. I was only producing like 80 plastic and 40 rubber, and that was nowhere near enough. So I kept having to come over here for my emergency lifeline plastic and rubber. So that goes into here by default now. And we've also built out this a little bit further, because I realized, hang on, I've just got turbo fuel going off here. I'm still packaging the turbo fuel in order to power my drone, because that only uses plastic, which is a byproduct here, instead of needing the aluminium that rocket fuel uses to package that. So that's the last bit of turbo fuel here. So that's splitting off from there. But the rest is coming in here and being turned into rocket fuel, because we already had the nitric acid going up across here. Simple enough to siphon another lot off. It already had a pump allowing it to be pushed upwards. We're using such a negligible amount of it. So now we've got what was once 2 power stations producing 500. We now have 8 of them all producing 480. I do still have a little bobble going on here. That's interesting. So that just happened. I saw that there was... These two over here kept running out earlier. You're fine now. So which is it now? You're now struggling. Okay. It seems that these valves that I put in to control flow... But, because, okay, 22 should be fine, right? 22 should be fine. It's 10 and 10. But if there's not enough in the pipes, it doesn't really like it. So let's say we go 40 on that, for example. Okay, so we can have up to 40 going in. And then hopefully that will stop this running out. The main purpose for the valve, it must be said, was just to prevent backflow. It doesn't matter too much if it kind of shunts a little bit too much into the system. We just don't want so much going across there. But I guess the idea is that ideally you want it filling up, but then we're only producing exactly what we need. And that's the 100 per minute. I could drop a couple of these down is the other thing. We'll just have a couple of them using a little bit less than what we should, so that it doesn't matter that they don't get quite as much as what they might want. So let's just say 30 on this, and we'll see how that goes. We just don't want to see those little drops. We're not using it all anyway, it doesn't really matter, but I just don't like it being inefficient. I wonder if the same thing will happen with some of these. I don't have valves on this because it's running downhill from here. I didn't really feel the need to, at least. I've got it splitting off two ways here, so the first 4 are fed off the bottom, and then the top 4 are fed off the top there. So, hopefully, I haven't noticed any issues with those. So with our power, we're sitting at, yeah, quite a lot. 21,000 megawatts. And it fluctuates slightly, I think, just with the geothermal still. So we've got a lot of overhead, and the idea with that overhead is that we can always then harness a few extra nodes just randomly to just chuck stuff into the sink. Because we still need over 100 coupons, little bits here and there do still help. Let's bring you across here. So we've got this here. I didn't realize that it was at a higher level, but that's fine. We can just drop that down and then have some foundations over the water, so we can have refineries down here. We only need 2 deep, I'm fairly sure. Let's do something like that. Let's go production, refinery. Yeah, it allows it to hang over, which is nice. Not all of them do, but this does. It's interesting. So these for wet concrete was 120 limestone per minute and 100 water. Ah, okay. So actually just one of these will be everything. And I guess we overclock the mine and we do 2 instead. Means we need 2 water extractors, which it starts to become a bit of a waste in terms of materials used, but meh. And honestly, at this late stage, it's like, is that actually worth it? Am I actually wasting things in terms of materials? I'm going to just connect these 2 up, which looks funny, but that's just so I can then put a pipeline junction directly in between without having to do anything else. And then I'm going to do the same with these. Ah, but that's annoying. Maybe we don't. Maybe we do it like this instead. And then we can put the junction in here. Now we need a, once again, didn't prepare ourselves with a portable miner. Let's grab 2 of these so we can make a Mark II. It's at the point that the material potential of awesome sink points is probably actually worth more than what's coming out of this, because we're so close to being finished anyway. But oh well. I don't care. Use steel so that it's 270. Have this facing outwards. This only needs to be at Mark II. We're not going to overclock these. We would just put in a second one if we wanted to. And then just have splitter Splitter. Mark 3. Mark 3. And then the limestone, we already have an awesome sink over there. Putting in another one feels a tad wasteful. But I don't care. It's only another 30. And the materials are negligible, so that's fine. Are you actually producing anything yet? Yeah, you are. Okay. You're just all sitting... Oh, I didn't even select a thing for you. Oops. Okay. So, oh, you're only doing 80 per minute out. And we can just put you straight... Oh, we can't quite reach. Rude. Alright, well. There we go. In you go. And... Oh, it's in between power poles. There we go. Fire you up. It ain't much. It ain't much at all. But it's like, what did we work out? Let's actually use the calculator in game and go 160 times 12. 1920. So it's 2,000 points per minute going in here. It's not nothing. It's not much, but it's not nothing. It's the sort of thing I needed to do a long time ago. Actually, are these underclocked at all over here? Because we have these producing 30 to 30. You're a minor Mark 1. You're actually underclocked. You're overclocked, okay. What else could I do with iron? I can make wire with iron as well, right? And from there I can do cable. And again, the more that you do an extra step of processing, then... And also this, most of this is just going to waste. We're using like 10 per minute, I think. A lot of this is just going to the sink, but because it's just the first level, that's really not actually worth that much. I'm going to back that off, and I'm not going to merge on this. And I'm going to repurpose you, and also put more on. You're going to split off, and going to split off again, to have 2 more smelters, and here, just because that's funny to me. And we do, actually we only need Mark 1, don't we, because it's only 30 per. So we have 90 coming out. If we then have a constructor down here, we're working our way towards the same awesome sink. Actually, let's just take a quick look at iron wire, iron pipe. Actually, iron pipe and concrete. We're making concrete, right? We could then make the industrial things instead, right? We can do encased industrial pipe. That seems pretty good, because that must sink for more, I'm sure. Where's pipes? Alternate iron pipe. 100 per minute. Well, we only have 90 coming in. So is that 22.5? It is. It's fine. And then let's bring you from... Okay, we're going to intercept you. Now, we have a lot of concrete being produced. 240, in fact. If we were, for example, to just put a little platform out here, and then have an assembler... Oh, we don't even need it to be that big. Okay, never mind. So if we have a splitter at this point, and then have belt Mark 3 coming in here. So if we were to select here, and we say... What was it? Encased pipe. Yeah, 24 per minute steel pipe. We're only using 20 per minute concrete for that. Alright. This will just be a Mark 1 coming through here. And then Mark 3 straight into there. And then at this point, we have a Mark 1. And then this needs to come all the way from over there. And we'll just have it be Mark 3, even though it doesn't need to be, just for the sake of speed. And we do that. So, we're producing 22.5. Let's say we produce 24. So that would now be 96. So one of them's going to have to go up slightly. And that would require this also going up slightly. If we were to make this, like, 30, for example, what would that look like? 120. So that just means that this needs to go to 150, and we just need one more. So currently you're splitting off here 3 ways. So that's going to want to go 50 each way, which is awkward. We're going to make you a Mark II. We do have another splitter off this side, so that's where we want this to come. And then we can have another smelter over here instead. That goes like that. So we have Mark 1, doing that, doing that, iron. You keep running out now. That's a problem. We could even underclock you probably, because I think 20 is still more than what we technically need. If we make you 15, then it can back up more from this way. Also, let's just... Screw it, we're already overclocking you. Just overclock you to 180 and we have extra. That's fine, we don't care. We can then just overclock one of these, or 2 of these. We could have just double overclocked, whatever. It's fine. We now have 4 of them. So now coming down here, we have 120 coming in. Yeah, we could do... was it 36? It was going to be 37.5, wasn't it? We didn't like 37.5. But who cares? Again, we're overclocking you already. We overclock you that much. We then go from here. You have more coming in directly from here, right? We're doing 60 each way at this point, coming out. But we don't want to be using all those 60 though, because if we do, less comes this way. We've got the 120 coming out at this point. Why do you keep running out? Oh. Classic mistake. I wasn't feeding it out fast enough. Of course. Now it'll work. Well, if we're using one of the 60s but only the 30, then it's always 90 that directory, so that's fine. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So we just double overclock you rather than single overclocking 2. We double overclock you. Always have 60 coming in here. Okay. And then this is going to get the full 150, because it's 90 and 60. Okay. 37.5 goes this way. You're zooming along here. I didn't actually connect you up to the overflow. That's silly of me. Let's just do a Mark II there. It's always going to be more than it needs. That's fine. You, I want to hook up here. Cool. And you can now make these, which these have to sink for more, right? Encased industrial beam, 528. We're using 6 steel pipe, which are 24. 6 24s are 144. And then concrete is 5, which is 12, I think. That's only 60. So it's 204 becomes 584. No, 528. Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it. And then some. That's quite nice. And if we really wanted to, we could even capture some of these, because these are actually useful. But I don't really care. Let's just go you into you, and you just go into the sink. And we've got lots of excess concrete anyway. But that's a much more productive thing to be doing than just iron plates going off into the sink. It's interesting because honestly that means that I should really have been using that alternate recipe quite a long time ago. I can't remember when I unlocked it, to be fair, but I've got all those iron mines off to the west of my main base and have the concrete right there as well. I could be doing extra beam production right from there. So we still have extra rubber in here. Oh, that's just left over. That was just from before I disconnected it. Okay, you can just come with me manually, that's fine. Everything seems to be fine here. Actually, let's check our power. Any more little drops or spikes or anything? No, nice and smooth. Love to see it. Let's go back to base. Actually, while I'm stopping off here, did I have any easily expandable overhead on this? Yeah, because I dialed you down. These are 22.5 each. So if we double this, we can do another 4 constructors feeding into the same thing, right? And just have the same. There's another merger input on that side, so we can just do another 4 over here if we want to. So then we have 2 off that way. We can even do another 2 off that way instead, but we've got more room to move over here. Cool, and then we just go constructor and spin these around and just 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just all have lifters coming out. And then we'll do some splitter shenanigans. And it only needs to be a Mark 1 because it's 22.5 for each thing for silica. Silica just seems to be the simplest thing. It's just it's a bit ugly in numbers, but it's fine. Once you remember that 22.5 times 2 is 45, then it's not so bad. Cool. That'll work its way through. These have a bit excess. The concerning thing is it's probably not going to be even, is it? Because it's going to... I mean, these will back up. We've got 45 going this way out of 60 there. We probably, instead of splitting it 3 ways here, we probably want to only split it 2 ways so that we have... Yeah, this is how we can control this. So we have the splitter there, so it's 90 coming out of here. Oh, which means that needs to be Mark 2 anyway, yeah? 90 coming out of there, and then splits up to be 45-45, which is exactly what it needs. So we just need to chain together multiple splitters where need be in order to make it so that it works out. That's where I've been going wrong in the past, I think. I've not been allowing for that. Got to control what your production rate is versus what your lines are into them. There we go. That's them all coming out. Now, merging is a lot less of an issue. It doesn't matter quite so much. So 37.5, so now we need to have a Mark 2 going into there. But we still need Mark 1 there. And then we can do like a 270 because 37.5 times 2 is 70, so it's 150. So we need to have a Mark 3. And it just needs to go up to... Oh, this doesn't have an extra coming in? Oh, because it's from there, of course. You, here, need to have you coming out. What rate are you coming out? 50, because we were slightly overclocking you. So let's see, have you come out here and actually face this way. Can I get you on the approximately the same height? There we go. Now have a merger facing that direction. So it'll be 200 from this channel into this channel. This is already a Mark 4 anyway. And then you're a 5, we're going to make you a 6. Just to be sure. Fantastic. You're the excess coming off from that. You only ever do 45 at the most. Lovely. Let's put you away. And let's just grab some quartz crystals for old time's sake, because we can. Lovely. Enough messing around. I didn't actually do the maths on the silica to see how much that produces, to see how worthwhile it is. Well, we were producing, what was it, 150 times 2? 300 from that whole operation, I think. What's it worth? Where's silica on the table? Silica is worth 20 per. 6,000 points per minute. Not bad. So we just doubled that. So we got to 6,000. It was 3,000. We just doubled it to 6,000. I'll take that.